He spoke truth to power like Egyptians had never seen before and made them laugh along the way. Bاسم, Yusuf, dubbed Egypt's Jon Stewart, left no one unscathed with his biting satire during the country's turbulent Arab Spring uprising. But these confusing political times have come back to bite Bاسم. His show has shut down due to what he calls, quote, insurmountable pressure. Now, between lectures at Harvard, I caught up to him a few days ago, and he told me satire didn't start with him, and it certainly won't end with this show. Bاسم, Yusuf, welcome back to the program. Great to see you.
Lovely to be with you again, Christian. I really miss you. I'm really lovely to see you again.
So I want to ask you why you had to quit show business, and what are you teaching your students at Harvard?
Well, you know, sometimes circumstances are not the best for you to continue a political satire show. Sometimes jokes kind of are annoying. I'm not teaching, I'm leading study groups because Harvard professors are very touchy when resident fellows come here and say they teach. So I'm leading study groups, and my topic is about political satire and humor and how they interact with political, social, and even religious taboos.
I mean, clearly, in countries such as your own, Bاسم, there seems to be no room for satire at all.
Well, there is room for satire and comedy as long as it's acceptable by the people controlling the atmosphere. So maybe I was too rogue, so that's why we stopped.
You know, but you were an equal opportunity offender. I mean, and let's remind our viewers that you went from being a heart surgeon to the most popular television host right after the Arab Spring, right around the time it was happening in your country. And you basically offended the Mubaraks, the Morsis, and you probably would have done with the Sisis. I want to play a little bit of a documentary that is being done about your program.
Egypt's Prosecutor General has issued a warrant for Yusuf's arrest.
Suspension of the popular and controversial program was announced just minutes before it was due to go on the air.
أنت تستطيع أن تضع جميع المعوقات وجميع العقبات في طريق الناس، لكن أنت تنجح فقط إذا قبل الناس إن هم بالعقبات والمعوقات دي.
You're going to penalize people for saying jokes now.
Once you go after a joker,
that's a joke in itself.
The director of the documentary is a senior producer with Jon Stewart. She's been following me for the past 2.5 years. It basically documents my story, and not just my story, but basically the atmosphere that we were living in the past 2.5 years. It's talking about political satire, humor, how can people be all for a certain program or a joke, but when the joke turns on them, they kind of like turn on you. And so maybe we were in equal opportunity satirists, but they were not equal opportunities audience.
Well, how important is it to be able to have space for satire, particularly in authoritarian parts of the world, such as your own?
Who said that my country is authoritarian? Come on, I mean, don't put like words on my mouth. We are, it's a very, very good democratic country, please. Please. Everything is good. I mean, everybody can say whatever they want. What are you talking about? I mean, did I miss anything? It's great. It's amazing.
So how important is it to be able to actually have a program such as your own?
You know, and I think like you really can't take satire out. I mean, satire didn't begin or end with my program. I mean, you know, it is a part of people's culture and a part of people's thought. So, you know, if one program is off, you know, there are people who will find other ways.
Do you believe there are limits to satire and limits to how much you can or will offend people? I obviously, you know, refer to the Charlie Hebdo cartoons and the terrible price that 12 of their satirists paid.
Well, personally, I don't think that you should make fun of other people's beliefs or other people's religions. At the end of the day, you cannot really control the world or the internet. People will continue to offend. The way that you face these offenses is not through killing or not through burning flags or putting embassies under siege. The way is to have a social conversation, make this deemed uncool. I mean, I'm going to give you an example. It might not be relevant, but 50 years ago, cigarettes were cool. 50 years later, cigarettes are not cool. It has to be through a very extended social conversation, not through violence, because basically the people who did what they did in Charlie Hebdo, the people who killed and committed the murders, they offended our religion more than the cartoons did.
I want to play you a clip of Saturday Night Live, a recent sketch about ISIS. And basically, it's a father who's dropping off his young daughter at the airport and giving her some walk-around money.
Yes, I've seen that.
And saying, you know, be careful.
That, yes.
Let me play it, and I want to ask your reaction afterwards.
Looks like your ride's here. You be careful, okay?
Dad, it's just ISIS.
Take care of her. Death to America.
ISIS. We'll take it from here, Dad.
So, Bassem, really, it's very funny, but on the other hand, let's face it, these are people who have slit the throats of our colleagues, who have enslaved women. I want to ask you a serious question. What is it about the West which can tolerate that kind of joke, even against the most inhuman and abominable attacks that that group has perpetrated on us, versus your part of the world, which cannot tolerate a cartoon, and some people
this is
take
a little bit inaccurate,
violence.
because if you come to my part of the world, the YouTube is infested with videos making fun of ISIS. We're basically making fun of their own anthem. We're putting their songs where they play, who are killing people. We're putting these songs on belly dancing scenes. We are making fun. We are having sketches. People are making fun of them. I think if there's anybody who's making a mockery of our religion, it is that people like ISIS and people like killing Charlie Hebdo. I mean, I don't want to even call them extreme Muslims. I think they are a bunch of lunatics who, instead of playing Grand Theft Auto on video games, they want to do it in real life. So they're just a bunch of murderers. And whether they put like a black flag or whatever religious slogans, you know, it happened with all religions. You know, they could be an extreme form of Ku Klux Klan, for as much as I consider it. So they are crazy, and they are a threat for me as much as they are a threat to you.
Do you think, ironically, that you might be popular again in Egypt now because, you know, you've got a regime that is no friend of the extreme Islamists, and maybe, you know, some of your funny skits against the Muslim Brotherhood might fit right in with today's culture in Egypt?
Well, the thing is, it's not, I mean, you can't go back doing a show with a premeditated agenda. I mean, you cannot, if you're going to do the show, you're going to make fun of whatever. The question is, will I be allowed to make fun of whatever? Because I might make fun, for example, on ISIS today, but tomorrow I would like to make fun of people in authority. The question is, will I allow to do so? And basically, are there going to be TV channels in the region that would like to carry that kind of a show? That's the biggest question. So I don't think it is likely that I'm going to be back on air anytime soon.
Perhaps you might be on the air, let's say, in the United States. Have you thought about Jon Stewart's soon-to-be vacant seat at The Daily Show on Comedy Central?
Oh, I mean, the day that I actually being chosen to replace Jon Stewart will be it will be glorious. But I don't think that Americans would like to take their political satire from a Middle Eastern guy with a thick accent. I think this is going to be even more difficult than electing a black president. But, you know, let's hope.
Bاسم, Yusuf, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much.